Motherhood is raising up in a child from birth in one of God's most wonderful creations. You are responsible for that creation. He gives you that responsibility. And to me, motherhood is loving, caring, and giving. And yes, you are a chauffeur, you are a friend, you are a mentor, you are many things as a mother. As a first-time mother, you don't know anything. You don't have any, you have no clue of what you're doing. It feels like you're shoved out there on the stage and you haven't a clue of what you're gonna do and or how it's gonna go, or if you're gonna do a good job. And so I made mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But I tried to learn from my mistakes and I tried to do the best I could with what I had. And whether I had a very, very damaged child in a foster child or I had a very well-loved child, they all are very loving and God-fearing people. Well, at one time I always would say this was the hardest time of my life, but I had 5 children, and I had Dusty and Kathy who were in wheelchairs. I had my son who was 5 years old. I adopted a little baby who was about 6 months old, and I had a 15-year-old teenager. And I always like to say that was the hardest time of my life because I could hardly go anywhere because I had 2 children in wheelchairs and I had a brand new baby. It was logistically unfavorable. And my husband was kind enough to get me a cleaning lady on Wednesdays, and that's when I went to Bible study, and that was my day off. And I like to selfishly say, and I never let that cleaning lady go again. How does being a believer fit in with your life? And I view that as very important because I look to the Lord for answers, for help, because sometimes your friends don't have the correct answer. So you have to look to something, and being in a study or a Bible study or a group with other women is so important because you share, and you have, as a mother, you have the same fears and the same hopes for your child. Prayer and faith is one of the most important attributes or achievements that you can accomplish in your life as a mother, because when your child grows up and becomes a teenager or even goes off to college and they walk out your front door, you don't have any control over what is out there in the world. And as we all know, there are a lot of bad things out there in the world. And my own biological son wore black and listened to terrible music, and I prayed my heart out for him. I warfared for him. And one day he told me he was at some rock music thing downtown venue, and he went into the bathroom and he looked in the mirror and he said, "What am I doing here?" And from that time on, he just kind of changed. I'm not saying that he became preppy, but he changed. And I prayed for every single one of my children, and I prayed for all of those foster children, and I try to pray for my friends' children now too. It says in the Bible, in Proverbs, to raise up a child in the way they shall go, and they will return to it. My kids taught me to be loving and compassionate and caring, and to have patience. And when you're raising a child, it's very hard to always be very patient because you have to be somewhere in 10 minutes and they're, taking their sweet time about getting their shoes on, getting their hat, getting their coat. And if you have several children, like I had, you have to be patient and more organized, and they teach you to be organized. That is, and to be a teacher, and to be a parent, because each child is different and has a different personality. So you have to learn coping skills, and so many things. I can't tell you how many times I have thought, Oh, I'm so happy that this child loves the Lord. They do beautiful things. They sing. They teach you a lot of things to be joyful also. Well, I would encourage a young mom with small children to find a friend or get in a MOPS group, go to church, and seek out other young mothers so that you could share your experiences, you can exchange your ideas, and also gives you a little time for a break when you're in those groups. And you could find people to exchange babysitting times together. And I think that reading to them and singing to them and being joyful is one of the most important things that you can do with your child. If you can convey a sense of joy in their life, you have different personalities that you're dealing with in children. And some children are fearful or whatever. And if you can tell them, rejoice in the Lord. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I used to say that every day when I would raise the shades in their bedrooms to get them up. And I say that to my grandchildren when I'm taking them to school, so that they know that there is love and joy in their lives.